My sister said I was just jealous of her success, and then she read the group chat out loud. She smiled when she said it, like the conversation was already over. She was watching me, waiting for a reaction. I tried to stop her. I didn't argue, because the moment she opened her phone, I realized she still thought the group chat was on her side. She started reading the messages out loud, slowly, confidently. And halfway through, she realized those messages weren't about me being jealous. They were about her crossing a line. That night, we were standing in my kitchen, barefoot on cold tile, the fridge door still open between us. She said it lightly, like a joke she'd already moved on from. Then she reached for her phone, not to text, to read something out loud. I told her not to. She smiled like she already had. I'm Emily, 32. I live in a one-bedroom apartment in Austin, Texas. Second floor, beige carpet that never really looks clean. A balcony that faces the parking lot instead of the skyline. I work at a mid-sized marketing firm downtown. Nothing flashy. A lot of emails, a lot of meetings that could have been emails. What I wanted back then was simple, peace, normal, a relationship that felt steady. My sister, Rachel, is 2 years younger than me, loud where I'm quiet, sharp where I soften. She's the kind of person who fills a room without asking permission. People like her right away, even when they shouldn't. She had just moved back to Austin after a breakup in Denver. No job yet, no apartment yet. She was crashing with me, that was the word she used. Crashing, like it would be temporary, like she wouldn't leave her stuff everywhere. The first night, we sat on my couch eating Thai takeout from the place on South Lamar. Cardboard containers balanced on our knees. The TV was playing something neither of us was watching. I'll only be here a couple weeks, she said, wiping peanut sauce off her thumb. I nodded. I didn't ask what came after that. My boyfriend Mark came over that night. He brought a bottle of wine and that look he gets when he's trying to be charming but tired. He kissed me on the cheek, then hugged Rachel. Wow, she said, holding on to him a second longer than necessary. You're taller than I imagined. Mark laughed. I didn't. At the time, it felt small, like a mosquito bite you ignore until it starts to itch. A few days later, I was at work when Rachel texted me. Mark seems nice. Then another message. He's way more fun than your last one. I stared at my phone in the office break room, the hum of the vending machine behind me. Someone was laughing down the hall. I typed back. Yeah, he is, she responded with a winking emoji. That night Mark came over again. Rachel had cooked, which surprised me. She doesn't cook. But there she was, barefoot in my kitchen, stirring pasta like she owned the place. Music playing from her phone on the counter. Smells good, Mark said. She smiled at him. I tried. We ate at the small table by the window. My chair wobbled like always. Rachel told stories, about Denver, about men who didn't deserve her. Mark listened, really listened, leaned in, asked questions. I watched them from the corner of my eye. The way she touched his arm when she laughed, the way he smiled without realizing it. When I stood up to clear the plates, Rachel didn't move. She stayed seated, talking. I came back with the plates stacked in my hands. She finally looked at me. Oh, sorry, she said. No urgency, no movement. Later, when Mark left, I stood in the kitchen rinsing dishes. The water was too hot. My fingers were turning pink. She likes you, Rachel said from the doorway. I didn't turn around. She's my sister, I said. Rachel laughed. Relax, I meant me. I turned the water off then. The first crack didn't feel like a crack. It felt like noise. Rachel started coming with us when Mark and I went out. Just tagging along, just until she found her footing. Dinner at a burger place near Congress Avenue. Coffee at a cafe by my office on Saturdays. Drinks on 6th Street. She always sat next to him. She always talked first. One night, at a bar with sticky floors and neon signs, Mark went to the bathroom. Rachel leaned over the table toward me. You're kind of quiet lately, she said. I shrugged. She tilted her head. You know, if you're not happy with him, you should say something. Men can tell. My chest tightened. I am happy, I said. She raised her eyebrows. Are you? When Mark came back, she slid over to make room for him. Her knee brushed him under the table. I told myself I was imagining it. The words came before the actions. They always do. Rachel started making comments. Small ones, soft ones. He's really ambitious, she'd say. Or, you're lucky he's so patient. Once, while I was in the shower, I heard her laughing in the living room. Loud, carefree. When I came out wrapped in a towel, Mark was sitting on the couch, Rachel next to him, showing him something on her phone. Oh, she said, we were just talking about you. My stomach dropped. About what? She smiled. Nothing bad, relax, that word again. The night everything tipped, it was raining, not hard. Just enough to make the parking lot shine under the streetlights. Mark had come over late after work. He looked exhausted, tie loosened, shoulders slumped. Rachel was already home, curled up on the couch. Blanket around her shoulders like she belonged there. I made tea, chamomile, the kettle screamed. When I came back, Rachel was talking about her ex. Again. He never listened, she said. Not like you. Mark shifted. I tried. I set the mugs down harder than I meant to. Rachel looked at me. What? Nothing, I said. She watched me for a second, then smiled. Later, after Mark left, I stood in the kitchen, the same spot, the same cold tile. I don't like this, I said quietly. Rachel leaned against the counter, arms crossed. Like what? The way you talk to him. She laughed, not loud, just enough. Emily, she said, you're being weird. I'm not, I said. She tilted her head. You're jealous. The word hit harder than I expected. I'm not jealous, I said. She stepped closer. Then why are you acting like this? I didn't answer right away. She reached for her phone. I mean, she said, unlocking it. If you don't believe me, maybe you should hear what people actually think. My chest tightened. Rachel, I said. She smiled. You're going to love this. She cleared her throat and started to read. I stepped back. The fridge hummed. Rain tapped against the window, and I realized too late that whatever was in that group chat had already changed everything. Rachel didn't rush it. That's the part that stays with me. She held the phone in one hand, elbow tucked into her side, like she was about to read a bedtime story. Her thumb scrolled once. Slowly. The fridge light was still on behind her. Milk sweating on the shelf. Leftovers stacked wrong. Okay, she said. This one's from Jenna. I shook my head. Don't, I said. My voice came out thin, like it had to travel too far to reach her. She glanced up, smiled again. You told me to be honest, Em. I had never told her that. She looked back at the screen. I swear Emily doesn't even see it, Rachel read. The way he looks at you, if I were her, I'd be worried. She paused, let the words hang there, then added casually, that was after game night. My ears rang. Game night, my apartment, a month ago, pizza boxes on the floor, cards scattered on the coffee table, Rachel sitting on the arm of the couch, Mark leaning back, laughing. I remembered it suddenly, too clearly. Rachel scrolled again. Oh, this one's good, she said. Mark's not in this chat, by the way, just so you know. That didn't help. She read another message. Then another. Each one landed like something small but sharp, not accusations, observations. She's so insecure. He deserves someone lighter. Rachel and Mark actually make sense. I stared at the counter behind her. A chip in the laminate shaped like Texas. I noticed it when I moved in. Never fixed it. My hands curled into fists. My nails pressed crescents into my palms. Why are you doing this? I asked. Rachel shrugged. I'm proving a point. What point? She looked at me then. Really looked. That this is about you, she said. Not me. The rain outside got louder. Or maybe I just noticed it more. I felt stupid standing there, barefoot, in my own kitchen, listening to my sister read my life out loud like it was gossip she'd collected for fun. Stop, I said. She didn't. She scrolled again. This one's from Mark's coworker, she said. She met you once, at that thing, at his office. I remembered the office, downtown, glass walls, fluorescent lights, everyone holding plastic cups of wine. Rachel read. She's nice, she said, but kind of heavy, emotionally. My chest tightened, heavy, like a thing you carry, like a burden. I stepped forward. Give me the phone. Rachel took a step back. Why? So you can delete it? So you can pretend it's not real? I don't want to hear it, I said. She tilted her head. Then why does it hurt? That did it. I turned away. I walked into the bathroom, closed the door. The light buzzed overhead. My face in the mirror looked unfamiliar. Pale, tight. I sat on the edge of the tub. The porcelain was cold through my jeans. I could still hear her voice through the door. Muffled. Reading, laughing once. I pressed my palms over my ears. When I came back out, she was sitting on the couch. Phone down now, like it was over, like she'd done me a favor. Are you done? I asked. She looked up. Yeah, she said. I think so. I stood there, waiting for something, an apology. An explanation. Nothing came. I didn't make those messages, she said. You know that, right? I nodded. That wasn't the point. I'm going to bed, I said. She watched me walk down the hall. Didn't follow. I didn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard the words again. In her voice, calm, certain, like facts. Around 3 in the morning, I got up and stood on the balcony. Rain had slowed to a drizzle. The parking lot smelled like wet asphalt. A car alarm went off somewhere and then stopped. I thought about Mark, about the way he'd smiled at her, about the way he'd never said anything wrong. Not exactly. I didn't text him. I didn't know what to say. The next day at work, I couldn't focus. My screen blurred. Emails piled up. My manager asked if I was okay. Just tired, I said. At lunch, I sat alone in the cafe downstairs, the one with the chalkboard menu and the burnt coffee. I stared at my phone. No messages from Mark. One from Rachel, "You okay?" I didn't respond. When I got home that evening, Rachel wasn't there. Her bag was gone. Her shoes were missing from the entryway. Relief washed over me. Then something else. Hollow. Mark came over around 8. He knocked like always, 3 short taps. I opened the door. He looked at me, hesitated. "You okay?" he asked. I stepped aside to let him in. The apartment felt different without her. Quieter, too quiet. We sat on the couch, space between us. "She read the group chat to me," I said. Mark froze. "What?" I stared at my hands. "Rachel, she read messages about me. About you." He leaned forward, elbows on knees. "I didn't know she'd do that." I waited. "She shouldn't have," he added. "That's it?" I asked. He looked up. "What do you want me to say?" I swallowed. "I want to know why those messages exist." Silence stretched between us. Thick, heavy. Finally he said, "People talk." "About what?" He rubbed his face. "Emily." I looked at him. Really looked. "Have you been talking to her?" I asked. He hesitated, just a second. "Yes," he said, "but not like that." "Like what?" "Like you think?" I nodded slowly. That night, after he left, I sat on the floor with my back against the couch. The room was dark except for the streetlight glow through the blinds. I felt small, replaceable, and somewhere in my chest, something shifted. Not broken, not yet, just moved. The kind of movement that means nothing will sit the same way again. The morning after that conversation, I woke up before my alarm. The apartment was still dark, quiet in a way that felt intentional, like the walls were holding their breath with me. I lay there staring at the ceiling fan, watching the shadow of the blades turn slowly. One full rotation, then another. Mark hadn't texted. Rachel hadn't either. I got up and made coffee. The cheap kind, bitter. I drank it standing by the sink, not bothering with a mug warmer, letting it go cold in my hands. Outside, a delivery truck idled in the parking lot. Someone laughed. Life moved forward without asking if I was ready. At work, I sat through meetings without hearing anything. I nodded when I was supposed to, typed notes I didn't remember writing. When 5 o'clock finally came, I didn't feel relieved. I felt dread. Going home meant thinking, sitting with it. I drove straight instead of taking the long way like I usually did. Parked, sat in the car with the engine off, hands still on the steering wheel. Rachel's car was there. My chest tightened. I stayed seated for a full minute before opening the door. She was in the kitchen when I walked in. Shoes off, hair pulled back, like she lived there again, a grocery bag on the counter. She looked up. "Hey," she said, carefully. I didn't answer. I set my bag down, took my keys out of my pocket, placed them on the counter between us. "You moved your stuff back," I said. She nodded. "Just for a bit." I leaned against the counter. "Why?" she exhaled. "Because I thought we should talk." I waited. She crossed her arms, uncrossed them. "You didn't text me back." "I didn't want to," I said. "That's dramatic." I looked at her then. "No," I said. "What you did was dramatic." Her jaw tightened. "I was trying to help you." "By humiliating me?" She shook her head. "By telling you the truth." The word truth hung between us. Heavy, misused. "You enjoyed it," I said. She blinked. "What?" "You enjoyed reading those messages," I said. "You enjoyed watching me hear them." Her mouth opened, closed. "That's not fair." "It is," I said. "You smiled." She looked away, toward the window, the parking lot, the same view I stared at every night. "I didn't want to be the bad guy," she said quietly. I laughed. "Once short, too late." She turned back to me. "You've always done this," she said. "You play the victim." Something in my chest snapped then. Not loud, clean. "I let you stay here," I said. "I let you sit in my life and rearrange things like they belonged to you." She scoffed. "I didn't steal anything." "You tried," I said. Her eyes flashed. "With Mark?" "Yes." She went still, then laughed. "You're imagining things." I stepped closer. "Did you want him?" The question landed between us. Naked. She didn't answer right away. That was the answer. "I didn't plan anything," she said finally. "But if he noticed me, that's not my fault." I nodded slowly. "No," I said. "It's not." We stood there. The fridge was humming. The clock was ticking too loud. I need you to leave, I said. Her head snapped up. What, tonight? I said. Pack your things. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. You're choosing him over me? I shook my head. I'm choosing myself. She laughed again, sharper this time. You'll regret this. Maybe, I said. But I won't forget it. She grabbed her bag and went to the bedroom. Drawers opened, closed, clothes shoved into suitcases. I stayed in the kitchen, hands on the counter, breathing slowly. When she came back out, she stopped in front of me. For what it's worth, she said, they were already thinking about those things. I met her eyes. For what it's worth, I said, you didn't have to be the one to say them. She left without another word. The door closed, the lock clicked. I slid down against the wall and sat on the floor. My legs shook, my throat burned. I didn't cry, not yet. Mark showed up 2 days later, unannounced. I almost didn't open the door. He looked tired, worse than before. I heard Rachel left, he said. Yes, I said. He stepped inside, looked around. I didn't mean for things to get like this. I folded my arms. But they did, he nodded. I should have set boundaries. I waited. With her, he added. Yes, I said. He stepped closer. I want to fix this. I looked at him, the familiar face, the small crease between his eyebrows when he was worried. Tell me, I said. When she texted you, did you like it? He hesitated. That's enough, I said. His shoulders dropped. I never crossed a line. You stood next to it, I said. Silence. I don't feel safe here, I said. Emotionally, his eyes widened. With me? Yes. He reached out. I stepped back. I need space, I said. For how long? He asked. I thought about it. Long enough to hear myself again. He nodded slowly. Okay, and he left quietly. The days that followed were strange, empty, clean. I rearranged the apartment, moved the couch, threw out things I didn't need. I slept better than I expected. Rachel didn't contact me. Mark sent one message, then stopped. One evening, I sat alone at a diner near my office. Vinyl booths. Coffee refilled without asking. I watched people talk, laugh, argue softly. I realized something then. I hadn't been jealous. I'd been erased. I paid the check, walked out into the cool night air. The streetlights reflected on the pavement. I stood there for a moment, breathing it in. When I got home, I turned off my phone, sat on the balcony, let the quiet settle around me. It didn't feel like winning. It felt like standing still after a long fall. And for the first time in a while, that felt enough. If this story felt uncomfortably real, you're not alone. Subscribe and stay here with me. There are more stories like this, told slowly, honestly, and without pretending everything ends clean.